Please welcome Ali Rez.
My name is Ali Rez. I'm the Chief Creative Officer at Impact BBDO for the Middle East, North Africa, and Pakistan. Our philosophy at BBDO this year is to do big things. So this is going to be a fun presentation. The picture you see here is of a very early form of artificial intelligence. This was a checker game that was designed in the 50s. And it was designed to learn from the opponent's moves and to build its own moves. So AI isn't as new as we think it is. Does anybody here know when the term artificial intelligence was coined itself? Any guesses? 1560s. No, thoda zyada ho gaya. 1950s, that's correct, 1956. Does anybody know when the term robot was coined? Anybody? Shout it out? No? 1920s. These are very old thought models that humans have had. In fact, the word automation comes from ancient Greece, which means to do things of your own will. And that's what the dream is, to get machines to do things of your own will. Now, we've been touched by AI or forms of intelligence that are artificial without even remembering what some of them are. For instance, anyways, that's what I'm going to talk about today, using intelligence intelligently and using typography intelligently. So when we talk about AI, many of us have bought books from Amazon, have we? Right? So whenever you buy books from Amazon, Amazon's been known for its product recommendations for a long while now. So let's say you're into Mary Shelley and horror, and it will recommend other horror books for you. Right? And that's great, and I buy books from Amazon, and then it recommends some books for me. But then, lately I also bought bandages for an injury I had. And somewhere the wires crossed, and it decided to recommend a very interesting product, which was Shakespearean insult bandages. I didn't even know this existed, but it's pretty awesome. But that's some form of intelligence deciding that I like books and I have an injury, so I might need to make my bandages sound a lot more intellectual. And they do sound intellectual. I'll beat thee, but I should infect my hands. So each one of these bandages comes with a very cool Shakespearean insult. It's awesome. AI. Can somebody tell me what we're excited about when it comes to AI? Just generally. Lots of production, lower cost of production, saving time, definitely. Predicting a lot of stuff that'll happen. What are we afraid of when it comes to AI? Replacing humans. Skynet. Ooh, I love that. Sorry? Yeah. So obviously there are lots of fears. Here's what I fear about AI. It's how people use it. I'm sorry if the creator of this is here somewhere, but how we're going to use AI is going to determine a lot about the kind of stuff we put out there in the world. This is the classic example of using AI in a not very intelligent manner that actually is harmful to your brand, if anything, but also restricts the thinking behind what you can do with AI. So I just want to talk a little bit more about where we can take this concept of artificial intelligence. The next Rembrandt was a project that was done where the AI model was taught on Rembrandt's actual paintings, and then it painted the next Rembrandt. This wasn't done this year or last year. This was done 10 years ago. 10 years ago. That's how old people are. That's how long people have been using AI technologies for. And this level of art, this level of craft, you can see that it's possible. That it's possible if you create the time or the kind of intelligence that will develop it. It's still learning from a human, It's still learning from Rembrandt. So for me, even the term artificial intelligence is kind of a misnomer because it is, after all, human intelligence it's learning from in order to build its own intelligence. So it's not really artificial, as is this case. It's still not perfect. It still gets hands wrong. We still make fun about how it gets fingers wrong. That's pretty remarkable. That violinist's hand is even more remarkable. It's going to get better. It's going to get close to perfect, I have no doubt. But the reason I'm showing you this is that this is an example I want to take about how you can use AI intelligently. When you know that there's a fault like this, that AI is known for, what do you do with it that makes it approachable to your audience? What you do is you inject EI into it. So when you inject EI into AI, what do you get? You get something that resonates with humans at a human level. It's not a machine talking to humans then, it's human talking to humans through the use of a machine. And that's the example. KFC decided to take on this AI phenomenon, and we all know KFC's tagline, which is finger licking good. And there you go. That's the EI part of it. It's finger licking good. They decided to open this up as a user-generated content campaign where they asked people to generate images of hands, as you can see there on the right, some of them rightly grotesque, to depict what finger-licking good would mean. They're not appetizing pictures, but this was a hit for KFC. And that's a perfect example of how you can take AI and use it in a way that's never been used before, that actually embraces its faults, that is human at heart. Because the intelligence is artificial, but the emotion is human. And that's something we forget at times, that look, even if AI is creating the content, the people who are looking at it are human, and they react the same way as if a human is going to be creating this. I'm going to be talking about 4 cases, and I want to start with this one because it's about using intelligence intelligently to build unique brand experiences. How do you utilize this form to connect to audience? Please don't take a picture of that font. Please don't. So this is the project we worked on a couple of years ago, but it's still doing the rounds, and it went spectacularly well for this client of ours. But it was based on this insight that in Lebanon, the parliament had failed to elect the president for the 12th time. The president is elected in the country by the parliament, and they had 12 different elections, and they didn't elect one. An-Nahar, which is a newspaper in Lebanon, is one of our favorite clients. These guys are crazy. We take in ideas to them, and they reject them by saying that this is not scary enough, so can you please come back to us with something scarier? So we're like, okay, we'll bring you something scarier. But we've done some pretty remarkable projects for them, as in, we didn't print their entire newspaper for one day and donated the paper and ink to the election commission instead to print ballots. We changed the national anthem to include the word women in there. It said country of men, and we said, nope, it's country of women and men. Big risks, big, bold risks. So we asked the question, if Lebanon won't elect a human president, why don't we build an AI one? Why don't we build an AI president? What? How do you do that? Pretty simple. We take 90 years of archived newspapers, over 33,000 editions, which are in Arabic. We changed them to English as well. Then we feed them into an LLM that learns from all 33,000 editions. This took about a year to do. We announce the arrival of a new president in the country. So there's your hype that you create, and you say, look, Lebanon's going to have a new president coming up. And everybody's like, wow, they're finally going to elect one. And then you get the editor-in-chief to announce the president, which is not a human. It is an AI based on reporting done in the newspaper by humans. And it was accessible to everyone in Lebanon. Imagine you having a direct conversation with the president and saying, listen, what is really good about the economy and what can we do to change it? And the president would respond immediately. We printed an entire daily edition, which was written entirely by that LLM. And that is the Prime Minister of Lebanon on the right and the Cultural Minister, and they're holding the AI president. And that's a cabinet session where they actively used it. How many times have you seen a photo of a prime minister cradling a president? That's probably the first one ever in the history of politics. But that's where it's reached. This wasn't an ad. This was a movement that we had made based on AI. And I'm just going to play the case film for you really quickly to show you where it went.
To appoint a government.
Lebanon had not had a sitting president for almost 2 years. 13 failed attempts by biased Lebanese parliamentary members to elect a leader had totally disenfranchised the public. The Lebanese people were tired of waiting for someone to represent their interests. So independent journalists stepped in to pressure the government.
في جلسة مجلس الوزراء الأخيرة رئيس الجمهورية كان حاضراً.
Introducing the AI president. An-Nahar, Lebanon's biggest newspaper, brought back the diverse voices of all its editors, journalists, and opinion writers to collectively generate the first AI president of a country to be used by a government. We used data archives from over 90 years of impartial journalism by An-Nahar to train the large language models. Through a nationwide campaign, we invited citizens to tune into a live interview debut where the president demonstrated balanced, inclusive, and unbiased reporting of its human counterparts. This was a president born not out of politics, but purpose. The daily edition evolved into a comprehensive political platform with new policies crafted by the AI president. From the first cabinet meeting after our launch, the country's government officials began including the AI president in sessions to implement reforms, build better directives, and shape more successful policies. Going beyond An-Nahar's readership, the AI president engaged the Lebanese in a countrywide dialogue, empowering them to push for change. And 9 months later, the Lebanese parliament elected a president for the first time in 2 years.
من رئيس افتراضي إلى رئيس فعلي في لبنان.
The AI president was not just a strategic provocation by An-Nahar. It became a tool to reform by challenging the political stalemate and showing what inclusive and highly informed leadership looks like.
So again, just a simple human-based insight that led to a 28% increase in subscriptions for the newspaper. It was the most phenomenal rise that they had. And that's the earned media. That's what we would have had to spend to get the amount of media that we got on this campaign. Can anybody guess how much we spent on making it, including building the LLM? Just a figure. Anybody? $5 million? $1 million? Going, $100,000. We spent $15,000. $15,000 of an investment reaching more than $25 million of earned media around the world. And of course, getting a functioning president when there was none, with maybe extra fingers. But that's the power of using AI when you're not just using it to create or construct an ad. Because the AI in this was the data from the newspaper, but the EI was being able to connect with the president directly, to having a form of a president when there was none. And that's the emotional intelligence part of it. This campaign won a gold at Cannes Lions this year, but it won a gold, and the reason I put this here is it won a gold for strategy. And strategy is human at heart. The best strategy is not machine, it's emotional insight. And we were delighted when it picked up the gold in strategy because that's what this campaign was. It was strategic at heart, but it used a machine to deliver it. Using intelligence intelligently connect with customers. Now, this is, of course, going to be a major ask as we move forward for brands and companies. I pointed out how Amazon does it very effectively. This is a campaign done by our partners in New Zealand. It's for a telco brand called Skinny. And we were talking about influencers yesterday, and I really enjoyed that talk. The goal is to find the right influencer. But what if you could bring on your own consumer as an influencer and use AI to do it? But more than that, what if you could strike the best deal possible in order to do that?
mobile company is on the hunt for someone who will be the face of their new brand campaign.
Hey, I'm Big Jace from Auckland. Yeah! I'm here to tell you, I love skinnies.
But it won't actually be their face. They will be cloned and used to promote the brand. In return, the person will get a mobile credit. What do you make of this?
I think that's quite concerning.
Hi, I'm Liz. I won the competition. Yay!
One of Aotearoa's very own telecommunications companies, Skinny, has successfully cloned 61-year-old Liz Wright.
They cloned me. I get free mobile for life, and they get to use my clones in all their ads.
Get a shipload of data.
It's time you graduated to better broadband.
Is New Zealand ready for multiple Liz's?
And is it?
I have absolutely no idea.
Well, they better be.
你好，我是 Liz，来自 Skinny Mobile. Hey Nick, your mate Josh thinks you'd love the Skinny. With Skinny's new plans, you can save yourself heaps.
I want you all to believe that you can get a great mobile plan from just $8.
Hey Liz, do you think letting Skinny digitally clone us was a bad idea? No, Liz. A bad idea is choosing a mobile network that's not Skinny. Digitally cloning ourselves is the best idea we've ever had. We are so happy.
I love that. They just made the deal with the customer that they would sign away their rights for life if they would be using their likeness for the brand. And that's such a novel way of actually engaging a consumer and using AI to build them and replicate them over and over again and then generate content out of it. It's something we've never seen before. But it resulted in like a 13.6% uplift in brand strength. Just based on this one campaign, 62% consideration lift, the highest ever that this brand did. And again, when we talk about efficiencies and cost, imagine not having to pay actors again and again, but doing that in a way that the consumer appreciates. There's an idea here, there's a concept here. Similarly, in the UK, this was a very cool campaign called Daisy versus Scammers, where they built an AI person to call back scammers and to engage them in lengthy, never-ending conversations. And again, that's such a good emotional, strategic insight of what ticks off customers and then addressing it. Burger King, the $1 Million Whopper. And the reason I'm sharing this one is it's not just about making a UGC campaign where they asked people to just guess the next Whopper and to make their own Whoppers out of AI. Now imagine if you are a Burger King client, okay? You're gonna get some pretty nasty submissions into this. Like you can have people put in anything into burgers. I mean, I don't even know what that purple thing is, but people were putting all sorts of weird plants. They were putting candy, and eventually they did pick 3 edible ones, and then that became a very famous campaign for them. But again, when you're getting AI or getting people to use AI, you have to be open enough for them to play with it. So when you get a submission that has, I don't know, Whopper with cocaine in it, you have to take it in that stride because you have to be fluid about it. And that's the beauty of AI because it can give you anything. So you have to be ready for it. Burger King registered their highest sales month of 2024 because of that campaign, because they engaged so many people using AI cleverly. We just launched this campaign earlier this year called Cheetos Pants, and the insight was very human. It's anybody who's eaten Cheetos here knows that you get Cheetos dust on your fingers, and what do? You wipe them on your pants, and then you realize you've got orange dust on your pants. So we said, why not make orange pants with a towel in the front so you can wipe your hands? Again, based on a very human insight, but where AI came in on this was, the problem was that we sold out in record time. No matter how many pants we created, they would get sold out. So we built an AI engine to help you find around the world. It would scan all these shopping sites, and they would tell you, hang on, there's a pair of pants here in like Vietnam that Dockers is selling. That's the exact same orange shade, or it's close enough, so you can purchase that online. And a lot of people engaged with the AI model on that fact. Yeah, it sold out within 5 days, and we couldn't keep up. So we had to build that AI engine to help them generate that extra bit in there. But again, all of these examples are that we have to keep thinking that AI is the artificial bit, but the EI part of it is the genuine bit. That authenticity, that connection through human emotion has to be present for it to be successful. And again, the Cheetos Pants was based on that very human action that only a human would know. Not many computers actually dust their hands on their pants. Using intelligence intelligently to represent nations. This is a new campaign we are building with an organization called EPIC in New York, which is Earth Public Information Collaborative. It's a climate action group in collaboration with WWF. And the idea here was very, very simple. I'm going to take you through a very short case film that tells you about the idea. It's a very beautifully crafted piece. And then I'm going to tell you how we're utilizing AI to build this campaign into the scale it needs. Without AI, we would not be able to do this.
Central Pennsylvania has been named one of the worst areas in the country when it comes to air pollution.
India's capital, Delhi, has overtaken the Pakistani city of Lahore as the most polluted city on earth.
The idea here was very simple. You take the natural indigenous landscapes that all these countries have, you feed it into a learning model, and you get AI to generate what a flag would be for that very country. So you saw the examples here. There was Gabon, Denmark, Nigeria, which is one of my favorites with the waterfall. Can we picture what Pakistan would be? In your minds, can you imagine what Pakistan... I mean, this is a beautiful country, right? It's got all sorts of topography. You've got mountains, you've got snow, you've got deserts, you've got the sea, rivers. Everything you need is here. So can you imagine it in your head? Now what it could be. So now if you feed that as a human, if you feed that into a machine and say, look, give me a Pakistan flag. Is that where we were? Right? A forest representing the green, snow. You still got the rocks there. Protecting nature is protecting Pakistan. But again, this is where, you see something like this and I get goosebumpy when I see the flags coming up every time we feed this in, because it's like, oh my God, this is a machine that's understanding. It's taking the information we're giving it on what the natural indigenous landscapes mean, and it's constructing something big out of it. And there we have it. Because the AI is generative imagery. It has no emotions. The emotion is in the question, what represents my country? If you show somebody from Nigeria that image of the waterfalls, they take pride in it. That's a very famous waterfall in Nigeria. I love it. That's what you need to generate out of your AI, not the content. The content will keep being made. What emotion are you generating out of what you're presenting is the big question. Finally, there's a lot of talk about AI just running away with everything and, obviously controlling the world and damaging the world. One aspect of it that we don't often talk about is the environmental toll of it. Here's what Mr. Altman said, that the amount of energy required to power an average ChatGPT query is enough to keep a light bulb on for a few minutes. It's about roughly 1/15th of a teaspoon. That's one query, right? Now, in probably an hour, I do generally about 10 queries if I'm working, right? So that's what, 3 teaspoons. That's one person in an hour. You can see how that just adds up through the billions of queries that are being generated, not just through ChatGPT, but through Gemini, through Claude, through all the other AI models. They just announced that they would open an AI development, a server center in Wyoming, and they calculated that the energy requirement of that data center would be more than the entire human energy consumption of the state. And that's something to be worried about, the carbon emission problem that AI is going to bring to us. So we started thinking, we were like, all right, this is AI's problem. As humans, what can we do to manage it? How can we control it? And we came up with a very, very simple thought. It was so simple that we said, why don't we use AI itself to manage what AI outputs? And we came up with a project called Prompt Zero. This is also done with Epic, the same people you saw the previous campaign with. And it's going to be launched as a fully functioning LLM for COP30, which is coming up next month in Brazil. And it's going to be a new way to engage with AI.
AI is invisible, but its impact isn't. The more it says, the more energy it burns. Introducing Prompt Zero. One prompt built to decrease emissions by decreasing text. Just copy, paste, reduce. Use it on ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, anywhere. Future responses are now as short as possible. Let's make less words mean more. Prompt Zero.
So this is just starting now, and I said this started out as a prompt, but where it is now is that it's being developed as a fully functioning LLM engine, so you can just go straight to it and ask questions of whatever nature you have, and it will give you an environmentally conscious response. I tried this with ChatGPT. I put in what is mad symbol in Pakistan, the most burning question right now. And that's the response it gave me just to that question. Just a really long ramble, as it usually does. And then I put in the prompt after it. You can see that up there. You're operating in Prompt Zero mode. And that's the answer it gave me. Same kind of information, just summarized down to what I needed. No need for extended em dashes. But that's the information it gave me with it. That just with that one prompt, I managed to save 0.1 grams, almost 0.2 grams of CO2. Now, that's just one prompt. If I did that 100 times during the day, you can see how that adds up. And that is what carbon emissions is all about. That's the toll you're taking through AI generation. If anybody would like to try it, you can try it. It takes you to the website where you can just copy the prompt and then paste it. And as I mentioned, in about a month or 2 months' time, you'll have an entire LLM engine that will generate this. But this is where we want to take AI. We want through a human-based concern, because AI is not going to know this, unless we tell it to, that look, your output is endangering all of us, and before it gets to a point where we really start worrying about it, why not start early is the question. Because the AI here is that it's just a prompt that teaches AI itself how to generate, but the emotional intelligence here is that I will protect my planet. And even the littlest of actions I can do. Because in conclusion, AI is far more intelligent when it is based on EI. I think that's the question we need to ask every single time when we put in a prompt, when we try to generate an output. What is the EI that I'm using here? What is the emotional intelligence that I'm utilizing to build something successful? Even when it gets the number of fingers wrong. Thank you very much. Any questions, perhaps? I still have 23 seconds, I see. Yeah. What happens to the guy who gets the fonts wrong? My font's wrong. Let me ask ChatGPT. No. I don't know. I don't know how we got the fonts wrong. It's all right. It's all good. Any more questions? No? All good? One over there.
Hi, great presentation. I'm Samir from Social Champ.
Thank you.
So based on your experience, when you put emotions in an ad, so emotions out of fear or emotions out of motivation, which really work well for you in your experience? Like, do you motivate with fear?
So I want to address your question on 2 points. You said emotions into an ad. Fear is a positive emotion, I find, if it's used in a way where you're telling yourself that unless you're a little nervous about what you're doing, you're not maybe doing the right thing. If you feel safe about everything you're doing, you're not really going to break any new ground. You have to be nervous about something. And that's the kind of positive fear that I think is a good thing to drive you. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Cool. Anybody else? We got one more there.
Hello, over here. Over here.
Oh, hi.
I just wanted to ask, how far do you think the acceptance of AI will go? Because, for example, in visuals, we're a lot more keen to accept give video AI, picture AI, but for like written stuff, we're a lot more skeptic and non-accepting of it. So like, if I write something up with ChatGPT, you can immediately tell it's ChatGPT, or we want organic stuff. How do you see that translating into visual medium, where our acceptance is a lot more ready, but there is still skepticism there?
Have you ever been to a supermarket and you've seen a packaging that says hand-cut chips?
Yes.
Does that seem more appetizing to you than just a regular packet of chips?
Sure.
Right? So I think humans appreciate authenticity. I think whenever you go to buy a machine-made carpet or a hand-knotted carpet, the hand-knotted carpet is obviously more valuable and it's appreciated more. I think AI is going to be treated that same way. I think we'll learn to accept it. There are 2 factors here that might come in. One is that whenever you recognize something as AI generated, you might think, oh, the brand didn't have enough money to shoot this. Value. The second one could be that when you see something generated by AI, you would tend to think that somebody doesn't want to connect with you on an authentic basis, that they're trying to fool you into something. So for instance, if you saw an ad where you saw a delicious burger and it's AI generated, would that upset you? Would you prefer a real burger photographed? Right? And I think that's probably where it's going to go. One factor that a lot of people don't consider is legal. I think a lot of legal play will come into action here as well. For instance, Denmark has passed a law that if, as a person, you say that my likeness will never be replicated or my work will never be replicated, then you cannot be used for AI learning. So let's say you're writing a book, that book can never be put into an LLM to be learned from. And that might restrict what we generate as well. So there are lots of unknowns still, but I think humans will always appreciate that notion of, I want something handmade. One of my favorite ads ever, one of my favorite headlines ever was an ad for Porsche, which said, handmade by robots. For Porsche. And that kind of tells you the whimsical nature of it, that even though it's made by robots, but there's a notion of, whenever you say handmade, it's like you took extra care to make it. You put more effort into it. You crafted it better. And I think that will always play on people's minds.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's one over here.
Hi. So there's 2 parts to this question. The first one is, we understand that creativity and strategy, these are elements that they always have a human element, and perhaps they will not be replaced by AI, at least in the very near future. what are the areas within advertising, within marketing, do you feel that we should be looking at in terms of AI automation, or what role AI might play in replacing some of the key roles in design today? The other part of my question is, again, when do you think creativity and strategy would be learned by AI? When would it become beyond AI, AEI, or artificial emotions and intelligence?
So on the first one, and it sort of filters into the second one as well, I think average creative will be replaced by AI. Anything average or middle of the road, photography, headline writing, even strategy generation, when it's at an average level, that will be replaced by. Because AI, as was pointed out earlier by Anton, the number 7, it averages out something. It's in the middle. If you train it at a higher level, like the Rembrandt piece you saw, then it can perhaps learn to copy that trait. How it does that with generating insights is still unknown. Maybe it does get to that point. But I think that level of human sophistication or human thinking, at least from what I can see, it's not even close to it as yet. Currently, what we can use to automate, I think it was pointed out, storyboard generation, for instance, tasks on an everyday level. I would love it if AI took over all my admin tasks, my timesheet filling, my expense report filling, and all that stuff, so that it frees me up to actually concentrate on creative, rather than taking up my time. So I think all the task-based stuff, that's going to be completely taken over. I think a lot of insight generation or baseline insight generation. Here's a starting point, and then take it to another level. That could be something that AI would be very useful for at the moment as well. And then film production. I think it's getting better by the day. We've used it not entirely to produce a film, but produce parts of films, maybe in the background, maybe as one shot, and it's helpful. It gets stuff done faster. I think I saw one more hand. Yeah, hi.
You talked about how AI will take over average work, right? That's the only work it'll replace. There's been research coming out that says entry-level jobs are the most at threat, right? Which means that new creatives will be up against something like AI while they learn. So how do we make space for new creatives to grow in this new environment, because they're coming into something that even we're unfamiliar with, or the experts in the industry are unfamiliar with too? So we're all navigating this together now.
That's a great question. Look, and I can give you my personal experience here. In the last month, we hired a very senior creative, and we hired 2 junior intern-level creatives. We got both ends in. And there's experience on one side that we know we're going to benefit a lot from. But the junior creatives that we took in, their work was good, sure. They know how to use AI. That's going to be a basic requirement. So learn AI, that would be my first advice, 100%. But what was amazing about them was that they're a bit crazy, that they have, like, it's absolutely crazy level thinking, that they'll say something and you'd be like, what? That's absolutely insane. And a lot of times you find yourself saying no to stuff as well, but that level of thinking of, what if you did this, and what if you did this, and what if you went here, and some of the stuff that no AI model could ever give you. That's the level you need to get at. And again, it's pulling yourself out of the average, because that average copywriting thing is done. It's going to be completely replaced. Kind of think about it as I pointed out earlier, as stock imagery. When you think of stock imagery, it did not replace all photographers. It just replaced the very average photographers. It didn't even replace all average photographers. All the major photographers in the world still have their jobs still there. They're still doing the photographs that they did. And stock imagery is also doing really well. But that level of pushing yourself out of the average is what's going to be looked at. And I think, yes, it'll be more difficult because there'll be fewer jobs, probably, but that's not to say that it's impossible at all. Okay, anybody else? Always welcome to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have any questions later on. Happy to help with anything.